Welcome.
Hi, everybody. This is I'm Jody Mosley, and I'm the West Anaheim Neighborhood Council Vice Chair. I'm speaking on behalf of West Anaheim, and the reason why I'm here is because enough's enough, and we've really got some things we have to address. I'm here for two reasons: the motels on Beach Boulevard and Twyla Reed Park. I really hope that I have the right words that make you understand, because we live it. You don't live there. We live there. We are having people come from the park and the motels into our neighborhood. These people are not homeless. They are criminal transients, and they have criminal records and very violent records. And they're coming from other areas. They're not from Anaheim. We have 90 organizations that help the homeless. The people that want help will get it. The people that are left are taking advantage of the incentives that are being given in our neighborhood, and we really need help because it's gotten really out of control. No, it's really bad. It's really scary, and everybody here is representing my neighborhood, saying that they're afraid to go to their own park, and if we do this whole Beach Boulevard specific plan and move on with it, which is beautiful, how in the world are we going to do this if we are accommodating the motels? I think what we really need to do is support Councilwoman Murray's proposal for 3 strikes you're out for the motels, and support Mayor Tate for everything he's trying to do to help us as well. I don't understand why we're giving vouchers that are paid with tax money to give to these people for staying in our motels. There has to be an explanation for that, because it doesn't seem fair. This is supposed to be the city of kindness, and honestly, things that are happening to us in West Anaheim are really far from kind. They really are. We're being really, really hit hard, and it's scary. We need to support applying quality rental housing program. The park itself has gotten really, really dangerous, and I think what problem we can do, one issue we can address is closing down the bathrooms. Nobody's using them that I know of, and everybody in our neighborhood would never even dream of going in there. It's really dangerous. They're using them for, the men are going into the women's bathroom, they're taking showers in there, and they're shooting up heroin. So I think we should close the bathrooms, absolutely close them except for special events. And we've lost our rights to the transients. There's always excuses but never solutions. Buena Park is doing a beautiful job down Beach Boulevard, and we just can't express to you enough how dangerous it's become. We're begging you to give us a reason why we have no entertainment, no farmers market, no grocery store, dog park, state park, Starbucks, restaurants. Please justify it to us all right now. Thank you for listening. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'm Philip Schwartz. I'm here this evening representing Paul Durand and the Scalzo Hospitality Group and Parkview Hotel. I'm going to be one of the people tonight that's not screaming and yelling at you. I'm simply here to thank you, each and every one, for the consideration you've given for the new alternative alignment for the proposed transit system. Paul wishes he would be here to be able to thank you personally. He's watching from his office in Wisconsin. Apparently there's nothing much to watch on television late at night in Wisconsin. Hi, Paul. I get paid, by the way, if I stand up here. He knows I'm here. I'm going to send him a bill. We did want you to know that you have lifted obviously a great weight from the concern that they had. They perceived a clear and present danger to their hotel operation. That has now changed, and they're extremely pleased. Also, to let you know, we are processing right now some new plans through the city. I think you're going to be extremely pleased with them. We're increasing the room count up to 182. We're coming in with a new design that is very contemporary, looks very nice. We're going to get a new IHOP. The IHOP that's there, as you know, It's like #1 in the nation. It's going to be completely refurbished, as is the Cold Stone next to it. And then to top that off, we're putting in a pool and a deck area. I think it's on the 7th floor. You'll be able to look right out and see the Disney fireworks and things, so it should be pretty cool when it's all done. We're looking forward to having all of you at the grand opening in a couple of years when we get everything all finished off. So again, from Scalzo and Paul Durand, thank you for everything you've done for us.
Thank you. You can hear people in the park, so they're not gone. Additionally, there's a number of cars parked on the street, and they pile into the cars. So I drove Saturday night slowly, peeking in cars, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in each car. So all they do is they get out of the park and they jump in cars. Increase patrols at night. Maybe close the park earlier, have winter hours. But I would start with having a project manager assigned to our park, having them enroll on our neighborhood site, and interview the janitors and see if anybody that's not a homeless is using the bathrooms. And if they're not, let's seal them up again like they were in 2004. I don't have impounds. I just got an envelope from you guys. I was the first $500,000 house sold in 2004 on my street. It's a big bill. I know you guys expect me to pay it on time, so we expect you guys to do something on our behalf. I get my electric bill every 2 months. I pay it on time, just like I'm supposed to. I think you're supposed to work for us. I could be mistaken, but I don't think I am. And we want something done.
Ms. Montague, your time is
and
up.
When you say we're working on it, I'd like you to end our evening with telling us a little bit about what you're doing and answer the question as to if there's somebody assigned.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Regarding the homeless shelters and safe zones and the misconception of the communities who are driven by fear and uncertainty, they know they're facing homeless problems already in their front yards and don't realize that it's bound to get worse. When we find ourselves with an epidemic of chronic homelessness, if the city don't open shelters or safe zones soon, especially for women and teens who are in harm's way, who come from abusive homes, this is just one concern. Facts from the National Alliance to End Homelessness. Chronic homelessness is defined as long-term or repeated homelessness. Chronically homeless people have a serious physical or mental disability, including mental illnesses like schizophrenia, alcohol, or drug addiction. For this population, permanent housing is linked to services necessary to achieve stability. Permanent supportive housing has been shown to be not only successful at ending chronic homelessness, but is also cost efficient. People experiencing long-term homelessness often cost significant tax dollars through emergency rooms visits, running with the laws, incarceration, court times, and access to existing homeless programs. A number of cost case study determines that permanent supportive housing largely or totally offsets the cost while ending homelessness. A study performed by the homeless scholar Dennis Cullen shows that in New York, each unit permanent supportive housing saves $16,000 plus per year in public costs for health care, mental health, and criminal justice, and saving alone offset nearly all $17,000 plus cost of supportive housing. A 2009 Seattle study found that the moving chronically disoriented people into permanent supportive housing results in approximately 33% decline in alcohol use for clients and saves nearly $30,000 per person per year. A vast majority of people who experience chronically homeless interact with multiple services systems, providing an opportunity to prevent their homelessness in first place. Promising, preventing strategies focuses people are living the people that are leaving the hospitals, psychic places, substance abuse treatments, programs, prisons, or jails. Many places like Utah, San Antonio have proven this effective. And
Mr. Noble, sir, I'm sorry, your time is up.
yeah, well, I see why the community goes against the shelter, and yet they have this problem. So I'm not sure. We need housing.
Thank you.
And following Mr. Collins, if these speakers could please form at the podium, Philip Schwartz, Cynthia Hall, and Ron Bengoshe.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. I'm Joshua Collins with the founder of the Facebook group Homeless Advocates for Christ. And I'm homeless myself by choice as part of my ministry. And not every homeless person is a criminal or a drug dealer or a thief or all that kind of stuff. I actually preach the Word of God, and I encourage the homeless not to live that way if they are. But be careful when you try to judge everyone the same, because we're not all the same. And to say, well, the homeless are doing this and that. Sometimes people with homes are actually doing the drugs and that kind of stuff. And it bothers me when I go to parks and I see people in their cars smoking weed and doing drugs and all that. And I also like to read a verse here, 1 Corinthians 6:9 through 11. Do you not know that the unrighteous or the wicked will not inherit the kingdom of God? Do not be deceived. Neither the sexually immoral nor idolaters, including the Muslims and people that worship other gods, nor adulterers, nor men who practice homosexuality, nor thieves, nor the greedy, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor swindlers will inherit the kingdom of God. And such were some of you, but you are washed, you are sanctified, you are justified in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ and by the Spirit of our God. And currently, right now, there's an organization, CARE, just so you know, CAIR, some of you guys know that, the Council on American and Islam Relations, but they have connections with Hamas and various terrorists, and they've had people that have gotten thrown in prison because of their terrorist activities in connection with CARE. And that's right here in Anaheim, they have this organization. So I'm concerned about things like that. I hope that more citizens will be concerned with me about that also, because that's what happens when you have idolatry in the land and these Qurans that teach things that are evil. And also, just so you know, September 19th, 9 to 11 a.m. at 303 West Lincoln, there's actually a protest against Planned Parenthood. As a lot of you know, babies were sold, baby body parts and things like that. And there's been a lot of reports about that on the news. But there's a protest at Planned Parenthood September 19th from 9 to 11 a.m. if you want to go, 303 West Lincoln. And just remember that also Jesus Christ was homeless himself. And it says how you treat the least of his brethren is how you treat him. So when you attack all the homeless, you might be attacking one of God's people, and realize that you can come under judgment for that. That's very clear in Matthew chapter 25. So there is a hell, there is a heaven. I encourage everyone to give life to Jesus Christ if you haven't already. And I have tried to get in contact with the chief of police, but he doesn't want to meet with me from what I hear through Los Amigos. But I've been trying to work with him on some of these issues and try to get a safe area for the homeless to sleep for a long time, as you know, Mayor, and it hasn't happened. There's a big parking lot right by Mercy House where some of the homeless that aren't criminals could sleep, and get them out of the way of, traffic and things like that, but it's not happening, and I don't know why. And it's been a long time that I've been kind of pushing for that as well with Lou Noble. So what's the holdup? I don't know. We've been trying to get a meeting, again, of course, on some of these issues, but homeless people have rights, and our citizens also. A lot of them are veterans and things like that, older women and things like that. So don't judge them all the same, but I want to get rid of the criminal activity just like anyone else. So don't think that all the homeless are the same, and do fight for the rights of the poor as God commands. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Mark Daniels, born here in Anaheim. Grew up in West Anaheim when Trailer Reed Park was nothing but a strawberry field. And stretch from Beach Boulevard to Western Avenue, all along Orange Avenue there. I first grew up on Grand Avenue, 330 South Grand, when I was born at the old Garden Park Hospital, which is gone now, near catty corner to Magnolia High School. And I can still picture when we had orange groves all up and down Beach Boulevard, and it was a whole different community. But I can still remember there was a lady that was walking her dog late at night outside her home, And all of a sudden she was screaming and yelling that somebody had attacked her. So we went out there and, I was, oh, I forgot to mention that was 1963. So it was kind of like we've had incidents, any kind of suburban area is going to have incidents. And we still have to look out for the fact that we do have this homeless problem across the nation. At the same time, some of the speakers have sort of merged both the fact that they've lost property with the homeless issue, so I don't know how you can decipher the two, saying that it's the homeless that are committing crimes. Well, that's not necessarily true. I would suggest, too, is opening up the Westgate proposed shopping center, which is at Beach Boulevard in Lincoln, which just sits there. Supposedly they were going to build this shopping center there, and it's just sitting there. It's like a movie set from an old Western. It's got all these tumbleweeds out there, and nothing's going on. Open that up to maybe the homeless outreach, and maybe alleviate the parks a little more. You could have, an outreach in that regard. Maybe set up tents like they. Because let's face it, it's not going away anytime soon. So I'd like to see somebody come up here and have some proposals, not just the fact that, yes, we have this problem, but I don't hear any proposals. There are no shelters.
Yeah. Please don't interrupt the speaker.
Thank you.
At that point. But I would like to say just briefly that I hear the large number of people talking about West Anaheim and particularly Twyla Reed and Maxwell Park. So clearly what we're doing is not working, and I think it's a very difficult issue. We want to be compassionate to those who find themselves homeless. Yet we have to make sure that people who abide by the laws and parks are safe, and certainly people trespassing or breaking into cars is just not acceptable. So there's a policing issue, I think, and a greater issue of how we deal with people who are good people who are homeless. I recently had a meeting with the Illumination Foundation, and they've done great work already in our city. I think something like them working with CityNet has removed about 360 people off this, who were homeless before into homes. And so I've met with the city manager about this. We've met with Illumination Foundation and the county, and they're working on a pilot project actually for Maxwell Park with housing vouchers, emergency housing vouchers provided by the county to get people into homes, into housing. And we've found that to treat mental illness or drug addiction, you really have to get a roof over someone's head first. And that's what this is about. So I'd like to ask the city manager to come back to us with that on a future agenda item, and maybe expand that to Twyla Reed Park. I know it's a pilot program, but I think we maybe do both. So I'd like that to come before us with a report and something different. We got some good ideas tonight, and I'd like to have look at those with a future report and agenda item for discussion.
Many people spend their time with us this evening, and I appreciate everyone who took the time to come down. And everyone has had one common denominator in their remarks, and that is we need solutions and we need specifics. So we have been working in a piecemeal way for a number of years, first balancing the budget and then starting to restore services, a key component of that being public safety, which was way down during the recession. And so we're making great strides there. We've made great strides in the resort district and the stadium district because those are economic engines that generate revenue for neighborhood services. resources, and that's been successful. And I think the next round of economic development and neighborhood restoration in a very global and comprehensive way should be in West Anaheim. We have asked for code enforcement programs to be ramped up. We have asked for, and this has already been asked for and is in process, we have asked for at the last meeting that we strengthen and the policies come back to strengthen the both the code enforcement at motels, and also very specifically I requested a 3 strikes you're out, or as stringent as we legally can, on hotel managers and operators that allow for felony violations, human trafficking and drug use in their properties. And that's going to be coming back. And I would like to look at how we create economic development zones for the serious and comprehensive improvements in West Anaheim, and have those funds be used to be reinvested. And I would like a policy to come back for council's consideration that is quite global by the end of the year, that will have a significant amount of specifics, but also opportunity to engage West Anaheim in that process before it comes forward for council consideration.
And I really empathize with the people of Twyla Reed and Maxwell. And we do have an item on the agenda tonight about a dog park. Our first dog park was in La Palma Park, and it opened in the spring of this year. And from the police reports, the activity between the dogs and their owners, and the activity and the socializing that goes on there, there's been a reduction in the amount of crime and the homelessness. So I'm going to ask to have agendized. We have the park in central Anaheim. We have one coming in that's on the agenda tonight in the hills, and I would like to see one looked at for development in either Maxwell or Twyla Reed, so you get the same benefit of that. It's a social activity. It's wonderful for the dogs. It's wonderful for the owners. And it really keeps the homeless out. There's activity. A few months ago, my policy aide and I had a flashlight dog walk in Maxwell with the police who take care of West Side. And it was wonderful. There were no homeless that night. There were a lot of people playing ball and a lot of activities, but no homeless. And then the police had one later at Twyla Reed. So if there's activity from the good people, I don't want to say bad people, because a lot of people are not homeless by choice. They're homeless because of an illness, a bankruptcy, a divorce. Thank God a lot of us are not there, but who's to say one day? So we do need to be compassionate. And in La Palma Park, there used to be many, many, many churches that would come daily to feed them. And finally, the city has kind of weeded most of them out. So I'd also like the city manager to talk to the Baptist church and telling them it makes them feel good, but it doesn't do anything for you, the residents. So I would like them immediately to stop feeding the homeless. I'm Catholic. I go to St. Columban Catholic Church in Garden Grove. There are several churches there. They invite the homeless to their place. And that's what should be done. We call it the White House. On Saturdays, it's our turn. So they come in the morning, they have breakfast, they've got a library there, they've got clothes, they have toiletries, they give them to them. They socialize with the other homeless. They come in bikes, or they walk, or they take a bus. They have lunch, and they go home with goodie packages to help them with whatever. That's how it should be done. That's how the churches can make a difference. Not coming to our parks. You have the trash. You got everything that's incorporated with feeding people who should not be fed there. If this lady, she said she has picnics.
We're probably getting too deep into this.
Okay, so that's what I just wanted to say. I would like to have those things done, Mr. City Manager.